What's up, everybody? Dwayne Bryant here from wagertalk.com with another edition of my MLB trend report. It is Tuesday, September 12th. I've got 6 more undefeated trends for you that are active today. These trends are a combined 74, 0, and 1. We're going to get right into trend number 1. And guys, as always, I start by saying please never make a bet based on any single trend or angle. These trends I'm giving you are only one trend in many trends that are active for each game. If trends are part of your handicapping, they are best used when you weigh out all the relevant trends in a game to see if they are weighted more heavily on one side or the other. So let's go to trend number 1. And for trend number 1, we're looking at Brady Singer this season. In the second half of the season, so game number greater than 81 brings us to the second half of the season, when the line is less than 200 or line is less than plus 200, which basically means he's either a favorite or he's not an underdog of plus 200 or more. That's probably the easiest way to say it. So it's Singer in the second half of this season when he is not an underdog of plus 200 or more. And we'll hit the SDQL button. And you'll see that the over and under is 10-0, 10 overs, no unders. These games went over by an average of 3.15 runs per game. Very nice 87.7% ROI on the over. And you can see that this is active today with Singer and the Royals on the road in Chicago against the White Sox. And you can also see that this trend was active exactly a week ago, with this exact same pitching matchup, except the game was in Kansas City. So we'll see if they can do it again today. I don't know if I'll be on this game. I don't get involved in double headers, so we'll see what happens as far as that goes. Let's move right into trend number 2. And trend number 2, guys, and before I get to that one, please hit that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it. For trend number 2, and I'm not really sure what happened there. I started with trend number 2. So we're going to go back and pick up trend number 1. Let's mix things up a little bit, or mix myself up anyway. We're going to look at Chris Flexen this season when the line is less than 185, which basically means as long as he's not an underdog of plus 185 or more. And the total for the game is set at greater than 7. And we'll hit the SDQL button. And you'll see that the over-under is 8-0, 8 overs, no unders. Look at the margin on this thing. These games went over by an average of 5.3 runs per game. And you can see in the right-hand column down here under innings, all these games finished in regulation 9 innings. So there's no extra innings anywhere to pad that huge over margin. Very nice 90.4% ROI. And it is active today with Flexen and the Rockies at home against the Cubs. So let's move now to trend number 3. And guys, if you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up to like this video. I would greatly appreciate that. For trend number 3, we're going to look at the Astros. We're going to go all the way back to October 27th of 2021. So we always have our 4-digit year first, then our 2-digit month, and then our 2-digit day. So we're going all the way back to October 27th of 2021 with the Astros. When the previous margin is less than -3, and what that is saying is in their previous game, they lost, because it's a negative number. That means it was a loss because they got outscored by more than 3 runs in that last game. And their opponent is starting a lefty today, and the line is less than 100. which basically means they are not an underdog of plus 100 or more. We'll hit the SDQL button. You'll see that Houston is a perfect 13-0 in this spot, winning by just over 4 runs per game on average. Now, the average line for these games, though, was minus 192.6. So that knocks the ROI down to 51.9%, which is still good. You can see the average score here. Houston 6.08, their opponents 2. So you can see that this is active today with the Astros at home against the Athletics. Now, this line's minus 300. I don't expect anybody's laying minus 300 in this game. I mean, there are people that don't mind drinking that much juice. I'm not one of them. I would look to bet this game a different way. You can see the run line is still 9-4. The ROI is not quite as good, but you're also laying a lot less juice. The other way you might want to go about this is the team totals. If you look at, you can click on any of these blue column headers and it will sort that column. So if I click on line, you can see now that the games are no longer in date order. They're no longer in chronological order. They are in the order now of the line from biggest favorite all the way down to minus 104. You can see in these games where Houston was a big favorite, okay? They scored 5 runs, 7 runs, 6 runs, 12 runs, 8 runs. So when they're a favorite of minus 200 or more in these games, they're scoring runs aplenty. So you might want to look at the Houston team total over, or you might want to look at the Oakland team total under, as their opponents have only averaged 2 runs per game in these games. You've got Verlander on the mound here. Now, Verlander was the pitcher here, and it was a shutout. Verlander was the pitcher down here against the Nationals. It was another shutout. So this might be a situation where instead of laying the juice or even laying the run line, you might want to either take the Houston team total over or the Oakland team total under. And again, that is only if you have other factors that are pointing you in that direction as well. Let's move to trend number 4. And guys, if you want me to look up any trends or angles for today's games, drop them in the comments below and I'll get to them when I can. If you have any trends or angles that you found for today, drop those in the comments as well. We would all love to see them. For trend number 4, we're going to look at the Arizona Diamondbacks. We're going to go back to July 16th of this season. So we're going back about 2 months. And what all this means here is that we're looking at the Diamondbacks when they are off 4 straight games where they scored 4 runs or less. So this one here, previous. The little p is previous. So previous runs less than or equal to 4. Then you have the double lowercase p. That points to 2 games back. 3 lowercase p's in a row is 3 games back. And then, of course, 4 lowercase p's in a row takes you back 4 games. So the simplest way to say this is we're looking at the Diamondbacks since July 16th when they are off 4 straight games where they scored 4 runs or less. We'll hit the SDQL button, and you'll see that the Diamondbacks are 0-12 this season, losing by an average of nearly 3 runs per game. Nice fade ROI of 77.9%. And you can see that this is active today with the Diamondbacks on the road in New York against the Mets. Let's go to trend number 5. And guys, be on the lookout for my football trend report for this coming weekend. It will be on this channel. It will most likely be posted sometime on Thursday, probably in the afternoon. So be on the lookout for that football trend report coming up in a couple days. For trend number 5, we're going to look at Sean Manaea. We're going to go back to April 24th of last year. When he's facing an opponent that is averaging 2.75 or less extra base hits per game, and the line is greater than minus 215, which basically means as long as Manaea is not a favorite of minus 215 or more. And we'll hit the SDQL button. You can see that the over-under is 14-0-1. 14 overs, no unders, one push. These games went over by an average of 5.7 runs per game. Now, there were 3 extra inning games that padded that margin a little bit, but you're still looking at an over margin of around 5 runs per game, which is impressive. Very nice 84.8% ROI on the over. And this is active today with Manaea and the Giants hosting the Cleveland Guardians. So let's round out this undefeated 6-pack with trend number 6. And for trend number 6, we're going to look at the Colorado Rockies this season against a conference opponent, which means for them a National League opponent. And their opponent is averaging 5 or more runs per game on the season. And the total does not equal 12. Now, if you look right before the equal sign, there's an exclamation point. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to show you something that I don't know that I've showed in the past with this database. And if I have, you probably missed it because I haven't used it more than once or twice if I did. If you put an exclamation point before the equal sign, instead of that meaning total equals 12, it now means total does not equal 12. So pretty much the total can equal anything other than 12 in this scenario. And you can use that before the equal sign in any other parameter as well. So you can hit the SDQL button here, and you'll see that the Colorado Rockies are 0-17 this season, losing by an average of exactly 5 runs per game. Now, they were an average underdog of plus 215, basically. So the ROI to fade them is only 38.1%. But as you can see, if you take them on the run line, you fade them on the run line, you'd still be 14-3, and your ROI would be slightly higher. And you can see that this is active. Actually, this is, I wonder what happened there. You know what? I put this on there to show you that, and let me take that off. This isn't going to be an undefeated trend now, I don't think. I don't think that it is. Now, see, now with the total parameter gone, this is now 2-19, losing by 4.2 runs per game. ROI to fade them is 29.9%. And again, if you choose to go the run line, you're 16-5 if you fade them, and your ROI is actually slightly better than laying all that juice on the money line. And now you can see that this is active today. See, that doesn't make any sense to me because here it lists the total as 12. Yes, the total, that's why, because the total is 12, and I put in the original query that the total does not equal 12. That's why it took that away. Let me go look at where the line actually is right now, because I don't know what line source the SDQL database uses, and I don't know how often it gets updated. So I'm going to quick check the line on this game, and see where the total is. All right, so the total right now is pretty much 12 everywhere, except I see one book has it at 12.5. And in most of the books, the 12 over is juiced. So this might get to 12.5. So if this gets to 12.5, this original query that I put up would apply, the one that was 0-17. As it stands right now, that does not apply because the total was still at 12. So again, and I say this, I don't say this in every video, and I really should, but anytime you run a query and you're listing a line parameter or a total parameter, you have to be careful that the line or total does not move out of range, because if it does, the trend becomes inactive. And there are other trends that may become active with a line move. So those are also things you have to consider and watch out for when you use the database for these trends. That's why usually with the total for today's game set at 12, I'd usually like to, if I was going to use a total parameter, I'd usually like to use it that it's at least a run different, or a half a run different if it's juiced the other way, so that it's unlikely that it moves out of range. And with your lines, I usually like my line parameters to be at least 20 cents different than what the current line is, just in case it does move some, it's not going to move that trend out of range and make it inactive. So these are just things you have to watch for when you use SDQL queries that include a line parameter or a total parameter. That, guys, is going to do it for today's video. As always, if you guys have any trends or angles that you want me to look up, drop them in the comments. I'll get to them when I can. If you have any trends or angles you found, drop those in the comments as well. And as always, best of luck on all of your wagers today.